Introduction to the Andromeda and its crew. The Andromeda glided silently through the vastness of space, a symbol of humanity's ambition. Its fusion engines hummed softly, casting a pale blue glow in the cold, dark expanse. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the stars as she contemplated their mission. A year ago, when the Andromeda was launched, the crew had set out with only a vague understanding of what lay beyond the well-charted territories of humanity. They were pioneers, testing the limits of human expansion, searching for answers to questions that had plagued Earth for centuries. Maya had always known she would end up in space, but the scale of what she was now overseeing was unlike anything she had imagined. The Andromeda was not just an exploration vessel. It was humanity's first true leap into the stars. They had ventured into the deepest regions of the galaxy, pushing forward with technology they could barely comprehend. Captain, Lieutenant Raj Patel's voice broke through her thoughts. We're picking up strange energy signatures at coordinates 247 by 8932. They're unlike anything we've encountered before. Maya turned her attention to the central console, where the holographic display flickered with new data. Raj's finger hovered over the screen, highlighting irregular patterns in the energy waves. The pulses were rhythmic, almost mechanical in nature, something that couldn't be explained by natural phenomena. Put it on the main display, Maya ordered, her voice calm, though the racing thoughts in her mind made her pulse quicken. Could it be? Could this be the first sign of intelligent life beyond Earth? The screen came to life, showing an anomaly in space, a distortion that appeared to warp the fabric of space-time. Stars shimmered unnaturally around it. Maya's heart skipped a beat. Is it a natural phenomenon? She asked, leaning forward. Dr. Elisa Wong, the science officer, adjusted her glasses as she analyzed the data. The energy patterns are too precise, Captain. This doesn't look like a random occurrence. It could be some sort of marker, or even a signal. Maya's instincts flared. The implications were enormous. Could this be the breakthrough humanity had been waiting for? She turned to Raj. Can we approach it? Raj looked back at her, uncertainty in his eyes. We can try, but I recommend caution. We don't know what we're dealing with. Maya nodded. Take us in slowly. Shields up. Let's see what we're working with. Her voice was firm, but the tension in her stomach told her she had no idea what was really out there. Exploring the unknown. As the Andromeda approached the anomaly, the atmosphere on the bridge was charged with anticipation. The crew worked in sync, each member focused on their tasks. Their captain led them with calm determination, but the sense of the unknown was palpable. Even with all the technology at their disposal, they were still at the mercy of forces they couldn't yet comprehend. We're getting closer, Raj reported, his voice tight with concentration. The anomaly filled more of the viewport, rippling as if breathing. Maya felt the weight of the mission pressing on her chest. They were about to make history. She glanced at the rest of the crew, Dr. Wong, her ever-present calm intellect, Sarah Johnson, the navigator, eyes wide with a mix of excitement and fear, and Lieutenant Emma Parker, tactical officer, her hands steady on the controls despite the building tension. Captain, I'm detecting movement, Raj said. There are ships, 3 of them. They're on a direct course toward us. Maya's breath caught. This was not what she had expected. Ships, she wasn't prepared for that. Can you tell their size? Larger than ours, Raj replied. They're using advanced propulsion, nothing we've seen before. It's almost like they're waiting for us, Maya finished, her heart rate quickening. She turned to the rest of the crew. All hands to alert status. Open a channel. Prepare for first contact protocols. The bridge crew moved swiftly, their training kicking in. Maya's mind raced with possibilities. She had prepared for strange anomalies, for discoveries that would shift the boundaries of humanity's understanding. But she had never prepared for an encounter like this. For first contact with the V. For several long moments, the screen remained dark. Maya could feel her own breath in her throat as the Andromeda closed the distance. The tension was unbearable. Then the screen flickered, and a strange face appeared, taking Maya's breath away. The alien had smooth, translucent skin that shimmered in the dim light of the bridge. Its eyes were large, entirely black, with no visible pupils. A row of ridged bones ran from its forehead down to its jaw. its mouth a thin line that barely moved as it spoke. "Human vessel," the alien said, its voice smooth and cold. "You have violated the sovereign territory of the galactic hegemony. This sector has been under hegemony control for 12,000 stellar cycles. Your presence here is unauthorized and illegal." Maya stood frozen for a moment, stunned by the calmness of the alien's tone. It was speaking English, perfectly. How was that possible? "Captain," Raj's voice broke through her thoughts, "their technology is far superior to ours. We are no match for them." Maya quickly recovered her composure, straightening her back. She had to stay calm. This was humanity's first true test. "We apologize for any inadvertent violation. We were unaware of your presence or territorial claims. We come in peace, seeking understanding and mutual cooperation." The alien's expression did not change. Its black eyes seemed to bore into her. "The hegemony does not negotiate with lesser species. You have one standard rotation to comply, or your vessel will be destroyed." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the crew in stunned silence. Maya's heart was pounding. The stakes had never been higher. Building tension, the silence in the command room was heavy, broken only by the beeping of the consoles as the crew worked frantically. Maya's mind raced, trying to analyze every possible scenario. The alien ships hadn't fired yet. Were they truly a threat, or were they testing humanity's resolve? "Captain," Raj said, his voice filled with concern, "I'm detecting more ships. This could be a larger fleet." Maya turned to Dr. Wong, who was scanning the alien data with a furrowed brow. "Doctor, what can you tell us about their technology?" "They've clearly surpassed us," Dr. Wong said, her voice steady. "Their propulsion systems are unlike anything we've seen. Their energy shields are impenetrable by our standards, and their weapons are undetectable. They are in control of this situation." Maya felt a sense of urgency settle over her. If they didn't act soon, they would be at the mercy of a vastly superior force. The hegemony had spoken with certainty, but Maya wasn't ready to accept their demands. "We can't just comply with their ultimatum," Maya said, her voice unwavering. "We're not retreating without understanding who we're dealing with." Analyzing the situation. The bridge buzzed with the hum of activity as the crew prepared for the next steps. The alien vessels maintained their position, but there was no clear indication of their intentions. Maya stood tall in the center of the room, looking at her crew. "We need to know more about their capabilities. We need to probe their defenses, find their weaknesses, if they exist." Dr. Wong nodded. "I can run a scan of their energy fields, Captain, but it won't be easy. We don't know how they will respond." Maya's mind was filled with conflicting thoughts. The calm demeanor of the alien species was unnerving. There was no aggression, no immediate threat, but their words were clear. Humanity was not welcome. The thought of backing down felt wrong, but the reality of facing their superior technology kept her grounded in caution. "We need to prepare for every possible outcome," Maya said, her voice calm but resolute. "Raj, start analyzing their movement patterns. Dr. Wong, I need a full breakdown of their shields and propulsion. Let's see if we can learn something." The first bluff. As the hours passed, the tension grew heavier on the bridge. No shots had been fired, but the alien vessels were still present, their silent watch over the Andromeda intimidating. Maya's resolve was unwavering, but she knew the crew was on edge. The weight of command was never heavier than in moments like this. "We've got a read on their shield frequencies," Dr. Wong reported after a long silence. "It looks like they're operating on a predictable mathematical cycle." Maya's heart raced. "Are we able to disrupt them?" she asked, eyes narrowing in focus. Dr. Wong hesitated. "It's possible, but it would take precise timing, Captain. A single pulse could disrupt their shields momentarily, but we don't know how they'll respond to that." Maya's voice was determined. "We'll take that risk." Introduction to escalating tension. The bridge of the Andromeda was silent, save for the low hum of the ship's systems and the occasional click of a console. Captain Maya Chen stood at the center of the command room, her arms crossed, eyes fixed on the view screen. The three alien ships had not moved in over an hour, their presence hanging over them like a weight that no one could escape. The crew worked diligently, eyes flicking between their consoles, ears straining to pick up any change in the atmosphere. The calm before the storm had never felt more suffocating. Every few moments, Maya's gaze would shift to the holographic display, where the three enormous ships loomed like silent giants, their energy fields rippling, shifting, maintaining their position as they watched the Andromeda closely. "They're not moving," Raj Patil muttered, his fingers dancing over his console, eyes scanning every detail. "They're waiting." Maya replied, her voice low but firm. She could sense it. The alien ships weren't just hovering, they were watching, analyzing, waiting for humanity's next move. "Captain," Dr. Wong spoke up, her voice tight with concentration. "The readings are consistent with their previous transmissions. They're maintaining their shield frequencies, and their propulsion systems remain stable. Whatever their next move is, it will come soon." Maya exhaled slowly. "We've had enough time to analyze them. We know what we're dealing with, for now." She glanced over at Lieutenant Parker. "Emma, are our weapons ready?" Lieutenant Parker gave a sharp nod. "Weapons systems are fully operational, Captain. However, I must advise caution. These ships are larger, more advanced, and their weapons, from what we can deduce, are likely far more powerful than ours." Maya's jaw clenched. The threat was real, but humanity couldn't back down. They were explorers. They were supposed to be advancing, not retreating. It had taken years to get to this moment, and she was not going to let it be snatched away by fear. "We can't afford to let them dictate the terms of this encounter," Maya said. Her voice softened but carried an undeniable edge of defiance. "We'll show them we're not here to be intimidated." A calculated move. Maya turned to face her crew. They were all watching her closely now, waiting for her next decision. Her heart was heavy with the responsibility, but there was no room for hesitation. If they were going to survive this encounter, they needed to act. The question wasn't whether they were ready to fight. It was whether they were willing to risk everything for the sake of peace. "Raj," Maya said, eyes fixed on the tactical officer. "Continue monitoring their movements. Look for any pattern, anything that might suggest they're preparing to strike." Raj tapped his console, his face tight with concentration. "Yes, Captain. Their movements are precise, but I'm not picking up any sudden changes. It's almost as if they're waiting for something. A signal, perhaps?" "Or they're waiting for us to act first," Maya said, rubbing her temple. "We can't let that happen. It's time to take the initiative." Maya's fingers tapped against her console, her mind racing through options. If they didn't get a clear response from the aliens, they would lose this opportunity. They couldn't afford to be passive. Humanity had to show strength without resorting to aggression. "Send a targeted scan at their lead ship," Maya ordered. "Let's see if we can provoke a response, but in a way that doesn't seem overtly hostile. I don't want to risk triggering an attack, but we need them to know we're not helpless." A brief hesitation passed before Dr. Wong spoke up. "Captain, we could send a series of pulses, non-lethal but strong enough to disrupt their shield frequencies. It would be a direct test of their defenses." Maya nodded, grateful for her officer's quick thinking. "Do it, but make it clear we're not trying to start a war. We just need to know what we're up against." The alien response. The Andromeda's systems hummed as Dr. Wong initiated the pulse sequence. The energy fluctuations rippled out, silently cutting through the vastness of space. Moments later, the alien ships began to react. "Captain," Raj said, his voice tight, "the lead ship is altering its position. It's moving toward us." Maya's heart sank. She had anticipated a reaction, but not this quick. The pulse was supposed to be a warning shot, a signal that they were capable of defense, but it seemed to have triggered something deeper. "Brace for impact," Maya ordered, her voice sharp, her eyes locked on the screen. "Keep shields at maximum. They're testing us." The alien vessel moved closer, its massive form now filling the view screen. The Andromeda was dwarfed by its size. Maya's mind raced, trying to anticipate what the aliens would do next. Just as the lead ship came within striking distance, it stopped. The tension was unbearable. Maya exhaled slowly, her eyes never leaving the screen. Suddenly, the alien face reappeared on the main display. "This is your final warning," the alien said in its chilling voice, though there was an unmistakable change in its tone. "You will return to your developmental zone immediately, or we will use force." Maya stood tall, her expression firm. "We are not retreating," she said evenly. We came here in peace, seeking only communication. We will not be bullied into submission. The alien's black eyes narrowed. You have no power here, human. Your species is insignificant in the face of the hegemony. Maya's pulse quickened, but she didn't flinch. We may be insignificant to you, but we are not powerless, and we will not be driven away. We will stay, and we will continue to explore. We will not be forced into compliance by threats. The alien's expression shifted, a flicker of what Maya thought might be confusion crossing its face. It remained silent for a long moment, then finally spoke. You are persistent, but your actions will have consequences. The hegemony does not tolerate disobedience. With that, the transmission cut off abruptly. Internal struggle. As the screen went dark, a cold silence fell over the bridge. Maya's heart was still pounding, but she knew she had made the right decision. The crew looked to her for guidance, and she could feel their gaze weighing on her. Lieutenant Parker spoke first. Captain, their shields are still strong. They could destroy us in an instant if they chose to. Maya nodded, but they haven't. Not yet. Raj's voice was laced with concern. Captain, we need to be prepared. If they do decide to attack. We will be ready, Maya interrupted, her voice steady but fierce. We will fight if we have to, but we won't back down. We'll make our stand here. There was a brief moment of quiet before Dr. Wong added, I've been analyzing their energy fields. They are advanced, but there's a pattern. We can learn how to bypass their shields given enough time. Maya's gaze sharpened. Then let's take that time. We need to find a way to survive this without compromising our values. Building trust with the crew. Over the next few hours, the bridge was alive with activity as the crew worked together to analyze the alien vessels and figure out their next move. Maya could feel the weight of the decision on her shoulders, but she also knew she wasn't alone in this. Her crew trusted her, and they were ready to follow her lead, no matter the outcome. But Maya couldn't ignore the gnawing sense of unease in her gut. The aliens had made it clear that they didn't consider humanity a threat, yet. But what would happen if that changed? What if the Andromeda's actions pushed them too far? The weight of command was never heavier. As the hours passed, the tension remained palpable. The Andromeda continued to hold its ground, but Maya could sense that something had shifted. They were no longer just explorers. They were now representatives of humanity in a universe that didn't care about their fragile peace. Maya's mind wandered to Earth. What would Earth Command think of her decisions? Would they back her? Or would they see this as an opportunity for compromise? She pushed the thought aside. There was no time for second-guessing. The Andromeda's mission had just begun. The hidden truths of Earth Command. The hours following the alien transmission were tense, but the Andromeda maintained its position. Maya stood at the bridge, staring at the now dark screen. The alien vessels had not made any further moves. Instead, they hovered, as if waiting for the next action, for the Andromeda to make its choice. The crew had spent the last few hours monitoring the alien ship's movements, trying to glean any information about their intentions, but they had learned little. Then, an unexpected message came through. Captain Chen, the voice of Admiral Erickson, crackled through the communications system. This is a priority message from Earth Command. Please respond. Maya's heart skipped a beat. She had not expected Earth Command to make contact so soon. But then again, after the situation escalated so quickly, she wondered why they hadn't contacted her earlier. Put him through, Maya ordered, her voice calm but filled with uncertainty. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the stern face of Admiral Erickson. His graying hair was neatly combed, but there was something in his eyes, a hidden knowledge that immediately made Maya uncomfortable. Captain, Erickson said, his voice measured. I have just received reports of your encounter with the hegemony. I trust you've handled the situation with the utmost care. Maya didn't miss the underlying tension in his voice. She knew Earth Command had been tracking the Andromeda's mission closely, but she had no idea how closely. Admiral, Maya replied, standing up straighter, I've handled it according to protocol. But I must ask, what did you know about the hegemony before this encounter? And why weren't we informed? Erickson paused, his expression becoming more guarded. You must understand, Captain. Earth Command has known about the hegemony for decades. We've been monitoring their movements for a long time now. The hegemony has made it clear that they do not view humanity as a threat. But that doesn't mean we're prepared to deal with them directly. Your mission was never meant to force this encounter. It was a test, one to assess humanity's readiness. Maya's blood ran cold. A test? Yes, Erickson said, his gaze steady. The Andromeda was always meant to be the first vessel to make contact. It wasn't supposed to come to a confrontation, but it seems that your actions have accelerated the timeline. Maya felt a surge of betrayal and confusion. Admiral, I was never briefed about this. You sent us into deep space without full disclosure? What else don't we know? Erickson looked at her for a long moment, then sighed. There's more, Captain. Earth Command has been preparing for the eventuality of first contact for years. We've studied the hegemony extensively. However, we didn't anticipate your aggressive approach. But now that it's happened, we have to move quickly. A chill crept down Maya's spine. Move quickly? What do you mean? Before Erickson could respond, another voice cut through the line. It was deep, urgent, and unmistakably familiar. Maya, the voice of Commander Liam Rourke, the Andromeda's executive officer, rang out. There's more you need to know. Earth has been preparing, but not just with the hegemony. We've been developing our own fleet of advanced ships for years, ships far beyond what the Andromeda is capable of, and they've been waiting for this moment. Maya's mouth went dry. You mean the reinforcements that arrived so quickly? Rourke's voice became grim. Yes, Earth Command already had the fleet in position. They knew about the hegemony, and they've been keeping a very close eye on the Andromeda's mission. We've been under surveillance for much longer than we've been told. Maya turned to the view screen, feeling the weight of the revelation sink in. The Andromeda had been a pawn in a much larger game. Earth Command had known the stakes all along, and they had been playing the long game, with humanity's place in the galaxy hanging in the balance. I won't stand for this, Maya said through clenched teeth. I didn't sign up for a war. I signed up to explore. Erickson's voice softened, as if he understood the anger in her tone. Captain, we're not asking you to start a war. But we can't back down now. You've opened the door. Now it's time to see what lies beyond it. Maya stood still, her mind whirling. She had always believed humanity's strength lay in its unity, its drive to explore, to learn, to grow. But now, faced with these truths, she wasn't sure what to believe anymore. She had to make a choice: stay loyal to Earth Command's directives, or forge a new path for humanity, one where they controlled their destiny. The secret fleet. As the communication ended, Maya's mind spun with the implications of what she had just learned. Earth Command had not just been aware of the hegemony, it had been prepared to send out advanced ships to counter them at a moment's notice. But why? And what was the real goal of all this? Maya paced the bridge, her eyes flicking over the view screen, where the alien vessels were still holding their position. What were they thinking? Was this a test of humanity, or were they simply playing with their food, seeing how far they could push? Raj, Maya said, stopping in her tracks. Can we get any more data on the alien fleet? Anything that might help us understand what they're planning? Raj hesitated, tapping into the sensor data. I'm trying, Captain, but their shields are blocking a lot of what we can gather. Still, I'm picking up something strange. They've activated a secondary energy field, an odd frequency that doesn't match anything in their standard readings. It's almost as if they're preparing something, but I can't tell what. Maya nodded, turning back to face her crew. The pieces were falling into place, but the puzzle was still too complex. The aliens had the upper hand, but now humanity had its own forces in play. The real question was, would diplomacy still work, or had the game already changed? The final confrontation. The Andromeda held its position, silent and still, while the alien ships hovered around them. Despite the facade of calm, Maya felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. Earth's fleet and Earth's secrets had changed everything. The once simple mission of exploration now seemed trivial in comparison to what lay ahead. We're being summoned, Raj reported, his voice tense. The lead vessel has initiated a communication link. They're requesting a meeting. Maya's eyes narrowed. A meeting? After everything? Seems like it, Raj said. They're serious. It could be an attempt at diplomacy, or a trap. Maya paused for a moment. The decision was hers. If she refused, the Andromeda could be destroyed, and humanity's place in the galaxy could be forfeited forever. But if she agreed, she might give humanity a chance at peace, if they could negotiate their terms. "I'll take the meeting," Maya said, her voice resolute, "but we'll be ready for anything." Clean, crisp, a fragile peace. The conference room aboard the alien vessel was unlike anything Maya had ever seen. The walls seemed to shimmer with a soft, bioluminescent glow. The air smelled of something alien, clean, crisp, yet strangely cold. The alien leader, a tall figure with the same translucent skin and large black eyes, stood at the center of the room, flanked by several others. The atmosphere was tense, yet strangely neutral. "Humanity," the alien leader began, its voice smooth but filled with a coldness that sent a shiver down Maya's spine. "You have proven your persistence, but what you do next will determine whether you are to be welcomed in this galaxy or eradicated." Maya felt a surge of determination. She had to prove humanity's worth. "We seek peace. We have no desire for war. We only wish to explore and understand the universe." The alien regarded her for a long moment before speaking again. "Your species has potential, but potential alone is not enough. You must prove your place in the greater order of things. The hegemony will grant you the opportunity to join us, but only on our terms." Maya's heart raced. This was it. They had a chance, but it would come at a price. A new beginning. The negotiations were long and tense, but Maya and her crew persevered. They fought for humanity's place, not as subordinates, but as equals. When the final terms were set, Maya stood tall, knowing that this was only the beginning. Humanity's future in the galaxy had been secured, but at what cost? As the Andromeda prepared to leave the alien station, Maya took one last look at the stars beyond the viewport. They had survived the hegemony, but there was so much more to learn. So many challenges ahead. One thing was certain: humanity had earned its place in the cosmos, not through force, but through persistence, audacity, and the willingness to risk everything for a future worth living.